Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome to my first UEFA Champions League review up here on Tereak Talks. And we're not just on Tereak Talks, we are on Munzi Talks. Big up Munzi. Go people. If you're watching from Munzi Talks, go subscribe to myself, Tereak Talks, and go subscribe. I know you TTF. Go subscribe to Munzi Talks. You'll see me on there quite a lot, doing a lot of preview shows, Premier League One. We've come together here. I thought we may as well stream this on both platforms because we both wanted to do a Champions League review. I've got more time to do it, so let's go ahead and do that. And guess what, people? I've got a special guest, and he is a Chelsea fan, but he's very knowledgeable, and he comes with a lot of controversial opinions, but I love that because he stands for what he believes in. Big up yourself, Hanif. Thank you for joining me, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, doing okay, but probably better than Chelsea Football Club, but doing okay.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not been great the past few weeks, hasn't it been now? With Chelsea, but finishing well, we'll get into that. We won't talk too much about that yet because there's a lot that we need to talk about. Let's jump into the comments first before we got on our first topic, which, as you can see in the title, we've got Brush with a popcorn emoji coming in early as well. Big up yourself, Brush. We've got Rich. He's asking Brush, do you work? He's in early, man. He's probably at work on the phone. He's got notifications on. And if you guys don't have that, go click on that bell so you never miss a stream if you are watching this later. Munzi's here. He's in the chat. We are streaming from Munzi Talks as well. So it's nice to see you, Munzi. I hope you're keeping safe. And he's still stuck. Have you heard about this, Hanif?
Where's he stuck? Sorry.
He's stuck in grass. His van is stuck in grass at the moment. But yeah, big up yourself, Munzi. Thank you for joining. And do you know what? Let's get straight into it. Let us get straight into it. And I think there's only one place that we can start with, really. That's been the talk of the town ever since Messi left. But now they've sunk even further. Barcelona losing 3-0 to Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena with no spectators into the game. And as you can see right here, they fall into the Europa League. So, Hanif, there's so many questions. We could do a whole stream just based on this. But what is your thoughts on this situation at Barcelona and how much of an impact do you think it can make?
Well, it seems as if we've come back around to late 1998, 99, maybe early 2000s, where Barcelona were in a similar position. And unfortunately, we're not seeing it only at Barcelona. We're seeing it in England with the likes of Bury and every other club that is facing this financial obscurity. There has to be things in place now. And if you think about the issues at Barcelona, we have to look into how much money we are pumping into these clubs in terms of player salaries. They're crazy now. They really are. They've gone too far now. You can't pay a player. So let's look at some of the big ones. They had Griezmann. He came for over 100 million. He's at Atletico Madrid again, and apparently he scored the other day, or he scored yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
They had, is it Ousmane Dembele? Am I right there from Dortmund?
Yes, that's the one. They spent over 100 million on him as well.
Yeah, and then you're looking at the Brazilian lad that they bought from Liverpool. I forgot his name now. Yeah, just remembered he's from Liverpool. The midfielder.
Coutinho.
Yes, Coutinho. Yes, the one who scored against them when he went on loan for Bayern Munich. We have to ask ourselves the question: these guys have been paid a lot. Barca's invested a lot of money into this, and they've not done anything. They've not repaid the club. You're talking over 300 million euros or whatever it is. Surely that would have been better spent in your academies, developing youth, and we need to look at this. They need to look at this seriously and start believing in their youth again. I still believe they've got one of the best youth systems in Europe. It needs tweaking a little bit. You look at Xavi on the sidelines, and he doesn't even understand what's going on, and he's got a big job in front of him. Barcelona at this moment in time, it's a regroup, and it might take 3 to 5 years. it's a long-term project. I think if you look at what's going on in La Liga, I think the president of La Liga is doing the right thing by bringing in financial regulation. But in terms of them falling out of the Champions League, it doesn't surprise me. They've fallen out against the most organized club in the world, in my opinion. They've fallen out a club that's better than them. So it doesn't surprise me when you look at the personnel. Even with Messi, they probably would have still lost. And where they once were, they are nowhere near. So
yeah, man, you are right.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you are right. And my brother-in-law Ed talks about this a lot. Talks about this is where Barca used to be. They weren't this great club that, you know, the modern era. Fans like me who have grown up seeing Barcelona compete for Champions League. My first memory as an Arsenal fan was watching Barcelona beat Arsenal with the likes of Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Belletti, and those guys. And then Pep Guardiola taking them onto another level, winning against Manchester United twice. That great one with the 3-1 victory at Wembley, playing wonderful football, and having a Messi, arguably the best player in the world. I think he is, and probably the best player of all time. I mean, and having that and having La Masia, everything fall into place. That it shows. Yes, it was great planning for that short term, for that short to medium term, but then when you're looking long term, you need to plan after that. Which is where when we talk about your club, Chelsea, it might not be the right way, but it's effective. But Barcelona don't generate that type of money. They don't have those cash-rich owners, and because of the pandemic hitting Barcelona, that's what's really put the knife to them and really exposed this lack of preparation, this lack of organization. When you see with the signings that they've made, but for you, Hanif, what would you do? Because I've heard a lot being spoken about the fall of Barcelona, but what ways would you go? Because I think football fans, we can be quite knowledgeable. Some of us, not all, but some of us can be quite knowledgeable and have these types of discussions and have a good understanding of what needs to be done in football. So what needs to be done? What's the first steps that need to be taken place for Barca to get back to where they were?
I think the first step was to get someone back into the club that's been there and built the club, and that's their current president, if that's what they call him.
Yeah.
Also, it was a big decision, and I kind of respected the decision what he did with Messi. That was massive. That's fifth. I think it was fifth. I think Messi was 49 or 51% of their revenue.
Yeah.
Letting Messi go, and I think that will be the right answer in the long run, as long as he's in charge. You need to bring someone in, and I think this is where they've messed up. You need to bring a stabilizer in. Koeman was not the guy. He's not the guy, and I don't think Xavi is neither. I think you need a bit more experience, but someone who can build a young team. Someone, I would have gone for one of the German guys personally, unless there's someone in La Liga, someone who could build a young team and possibly get them in the top 4, because La Liga is changing. Because the league committee have recognized that, look, only at one time it used to be like the Scottish League.
Yeah,
it only used to be 2 teams.
You're right.
It was only used to be 2 teams. Now the other teams are getting better because the TV money is being more fairly distributed. It's not all going to Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I think they need to look at models like Dortmund. For me, Barcelona always remind me of Dortmund, whereas Real Madrid remind me of Bayern. And that's because of what they've won, the types of players and so on. And I think Barca will come again. And I think it comes down to reinvesting in their academy, looking what's working abroad. You know, these guys were like world leaders in youth football. You can come again. And that's where a lot of investment needs to be made. They need to look at the structures within. Why are football clubs, especially Barcelona, why are you paying silly money to guys that are not even in the team? There's loads of them. I think Umtiti was on big money even before he got established. you need to look at that. And I think football as a whole needs to look at that. You've not played, you've not won anything, you've not achieved anything, but you're getting paid stupid money. And I think as a whole, Barcelona need to reevaluate and say, look, we're putting these things in place that, you know what, if someone does really well, comes through our academy, yes, you will get well paid, well looked after once you make it. But you can't just throw money at it, because that's what they did and it didn't work. So the structures need to be in place. I think they've got the right guy in charge, and build slowly. And you might not agree with me this, but I look at Arsenal at the moment, Tereak.
Yeah.
And I know, listen, look, Arsenal, I've always said it, Arsenal are a fantastic club. They are a brilliant club, but you have to understand that where you are at this moment in time, right? What is the ambition at the moment? We're not going to get near the league, right? Can we make a top 4 push? I would say it's kind of happening. I don't think Arsenal are far off. But realistically, where are Arsenal going to be? Probably Europa League. With Barca, it's a bit different depending on how they finish. Barcelona should put everything into La Liga, try and get top 4, so it brings in more revenue, and then the building process is better for them in the long run, as long as they keep making top 4. If they fall out of the top 4, which can happen, it's going to take longer. I don't think it was a good idea giving Xavi the job. I think it's such a big job. It's like the Manchester United job, giving it to someone who's not got the experience yet, in my opinion, who's not proven himself at European level. And as a result of a lack of trophies, you're getting the Barcelona job and you're playing football manager with one of the best clubs in the world. And that for me is worrying. So those are some of the things I would consider. And I think Barcelona have to look at themselves and think, you know what's it going to take for us to get back to the top? I don't think Barcelona are in any position to go and get a big player, even though I think one of Man City's players, Torres, he might go, but they need to get their finances in order. And once you get your finances in order, they can then think about strengthening the team. But they've got so many players, and I think they need to believe in their youth. They've got so many good young players come through, and they've never been given the opportunity. And this is one of the things that I respected about Arsene Wenger. He gave those young players such an opportunity that he took the flak when they made mistakes, and Arsenal never got over the line. And obviously, you being an Arsenal fan, understand that.
Yeah.
And I think for the major clubs, having a youth policy where opportunity, if it's not given, then you should do what Chelsea do: send them out on loan.
Yeah.
Make money out of them, but don't pay them stupid salaries. Do not do that. There's a lot of, even at Chelsea, the amount of talented players that are on crazy many. We had one player that was on loan for 9 years, and I forgot his name at this moment in time. And we have to ask ourselves, right, why are these footballers making these decisions? Is it money? It might be. Or is it because they're not going to get the opportunity anywhere else? Or maybe just think they'll eventually get that opportunity like Martinez did, like after 10 years or so.
Yeah. So
there's a lot to consider, and I think, you know what, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. There's no quick fix, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And there is no quick fix. And when you was talking about that quickly, and then we'll get right into the comments, because I want to get your guys' thoughts and what you think, because I can see a lot of them coming in. Guys, keep smashing your comments coming in, because I want to hear your thoughts as well, me and Hanif, and we can have some discussions. If you've got any questions, let us know. For me, it's that top 4, as you said. They need that. It's more vital for Barcelona to get into the top 4 than it is for Arsenal, because of the revenue it gains. And they've been impacted way more by the pandemic than the Premier League has, because the Premier League still has, the money from the Premier League doesn't actually come from crowd sales, and the revenue generated from TV. That's what it is. Sky, BT, American, NBC, you name it, wherever. That's where the money's generated, and that's where Barcelona, their finances are a mess, which is why they are suffering even more right now, why they've had to lose players like Messi. And they do have a good nucleus in there. And do you know what? Before I go into that, let me go into the comments, because we've got Jay in the building as well. Yes, Steve, big up everyone. Big up yourself, Jay. He's talking about Conte's conspiracy, the match being cancelled. Hey, he's on about Chelsea guy talking about spending too much. Kind of funny. Do you know what, Moss? Hanif's got some very interesting points. on Chelsea and spending their money. I'll bite your tongue. I'll let you go on about Chelsea in a bit so people can know. But Barca and Madrid always way overspending. Pandemic caught them up is all. I think you're spot on and you're right about that. Barca be back with Xavi. We'll get a young nucleus to mould, but they have patience. And Arsenal fans are not patient, so I'm sure Barca fans won't be either. I think Barcelona fans are worse. What would you say about that, Hanif? Because I think Barcelona fans are worse in terms of patience. I don't know. It's probably that culture that is the culture. I think it's mainly within the culture within Spanish clubs, like we've seen with Real Madrid. I don't know, man. They want instant success. You know, because I mean, you're very knowledgeable on football. So, what would you think? Do you think they'd be patient, the fans?
I think the young fans probably will be, but I think if you're my age, who've seen the likes of Rivaldo and stuff like that, and then you saw their dip, and then Ronaldinho was bought, and then you saw them go to another level. Then Messi took them to another level. The young fans probably will be, but the older fans know that this is going to take time now. Look at what's going on at Manchester United. Look at it. It's not a joke. 10 years. It's almost 10 years without a title. 10 years. They've spent $1 billion. Since Roman Abramovich has taken over Chelsea, he spent just over $2 billion.
Yeah.
United have spent $1 billion. They've thrown $1 billion at it, and they're still nowhere near. So yeah, I understand the Spanish fans. They're very passionate, and the amount of money they pay is crazy when you compare it to the German model. But these are football clubs taking advantage of that. Also, are they impatient? Well, look at your club. You have to be realistic. It's like someone saying to me, Chelsea are going to win the league, and I'll just be like, not this year. It's not going to happen. Not. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I just don't think it will.
Yeah.
But with Barcelona, they're nowhere near, man. And for me, I've always felt that I'm one of those old schoolers that I think you should be dominating your league. You should be dominating your league, and as a result of dominating your league, eventually you will dominate Europe again. Because for me, I always feel Real Madrid and Barca care more about the European trophy than they do La Liga, and I think for me that's an issue. That's why the Premier League's better than La Liga. It will change again, and then I will also compare it to, if you look at Tereak, the Champions League this year and last year, outside Bayern Munich and possibly PSG, only the English clubs are going to get there, and only the English clubs are going to dominate for the next 3 to 5 years because we've got the most revenue. We're in the best league that makes the most money. So the Champions League, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be all that, in my opinion.
It's not going to be as relevant, and it's not going to be as lucrative for these English sides as you're right. Paxton saying here, first of all, set a wage cap, and if players don't want to, do it, they don't love the club, so sell them and generate money through reduced wages and sell the players that is over 23 who don't. I think that's pretty easier said than done, getting off players with such long wages and contracts. I've seen my club suffer with that. You've seen Chelsea having to deal with that as well, sending a lot of these players out on loan, like Bakayokos and whatnot. It's even harder for a club like Barcelona because everybody knows their financial situation and the players, and
they're a laughing stock. They let Coutinho go to Bayern and he scored against them. What are you doing? Why isn't a manager being able to get the best out of Coutinho? But if you look at what's going on at Real Madrid at this moment in time, King Carlo left Everton, Real Madrid, I think they're top of the league or they're second, and he's doing bits. He's getting a tune out of Vinicius, sorry. And they're doing really, really well. So this is why I've said, look, why haven't you got someone experienced? And I think Barca want Pep, and I don't think he's gonna come.
Exactly. Big up yourself, Arsenal Vlogs. Nice to see you in the chat right there. We've got Josh McEachran.
I was a fan of Josh.
He was the next big thing, weren't he? At one point, we've had Josh and Jack, haven't we? Jack Wilshere. And back to your question, does anyone know how Xavi did in Qatar? They did do well. Did they win?
I think.
There you go. So
we only see one clip. We only see that one clip. That's all we see.
Exactly. So yeah, he has done well there. Barcelona deserve this. Silly wages, silly signings. I agree. That's what happens when, you come into a pandemic. I think that's probably the biggest factor, though, rather than anything to do with financial fair play. Is Arsenal in the Champions League? Hey, Sato, calm down. I think he's a Liverpool fan, Sato is. We'll get in there. Well, maybe one day. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Nice to see you, Auntie. Go Riki, so proud of you. Thank you for showing love and support, as always. Know-how, yes, that's his record. Well brought up, Paxton. His record has been played 91 matches, won 62, drawn 13, lost 16, which isn't bad.
No, that's brilliant. That's a really good record when you think about it.
Exactly. When you look at the win ratio on that's ridiculous. That's got to be one of the best like Barcelona have had in their managers. We spent a lot of time talking about Barcelona. Let's talk about the other notable clubs that have gone out, and some of them will be entering the Europa League, some won't. As you can see, it's at the bottom and at the ticker. But before we do, make sure you do hit that like button, people, and subscribe if you're new. So yes, on both channels, hit the like button and subscribe to Tereak Talks and Munzi Talks. It'll be very well appreciated. We're doing this for the first time, and guys, keep getting your comments in. Any questions you want to ask, anything you want us to talk about specifically that we don't touch on, we're all here, and this is what it's about, having discussions and including you guys in there as well. So the notable clubs that are out, as you can see, is Leipzig, Porto, AC Milan, Dortmund, Barcelona, as we spoke about, Villarreal or Atalanta, who are playing in 35 minutes time here in the UK. So yes, and then we'll find out there. And Sevilla. So who should we talk about here? AC Milan. Let's talk about that one. Their 2-1 defeat to Liverpool. What was your thoughts on that, Hanif? A very much changed Liverpool side. Did you catch any of the game?
I caught the highlights. It was interesting to see Liverpool's lineup, but he went with a very powerful front three, and that front three is the best in the world, in my opinion. And I think those young lads or their utility players would have learned a lot. I think the fans would have been happy them getting the opportunity. Klopp is obviously rotating because he knows the December fixture list is absolutely madness. And listen, they got the job done. They played well. AC Milan is another one. Barcelona, it's already happened. I remember AC Milan was, and it still is. It's one of the best clubs in the world. Those of you that know football, and they had a fabulous team. I remember Cafu. I always remember Cafu. Whenever I think AC Milan, I think of Cafu and Maldini. And for me, they're nowhere near, man. They're just nowhere near. They're not. They'll get into the Champions League, but they will never get. They're not good enough, man. And this is where the Italian league is. This is where it's a sad story. It is a very sad story that AC Milan are in this position. They've got some good individuals like Kessie. Tereak is one that you might want to keep an eye on. Yeah. I think you should have bought him over Thomas Partey. I was surprised, but 40 million. I think he's a phenomenal player. There's that Turkish lad, and they've got one or two others, but Liverpool got the job done, man, and they're too good, man. They're well drilled. We're not talking about a new team here. We're not talking about a team that's just been taken over by a manager. We're talking about a well-drilled, well-established, well-experienced team that is playing, that has changed the team up, and they're giving, the likes of Nico Williams an opportunity to gain experience. For me, they are the favourites. If they keep their players fit, Liverpool are the favourites. And I don't think anyone derails them apart from Man City, who play a fantastic type of football. And they got the job done. I really feel for AC Milan. I can't believe what sometimes I can't believe what I'm watching when I watch them play. I'm like, who is this guy? What's going on here? And Maldini's part of the organization now, so things are going to change, but it takes time.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've got a bit more of a positive outlook when I look at AC Milan, because I'm looking at where they've come from in recent times, and They weren't in the Champions League. They were trying desperately to get there, and now they've got a good squad. If you look at it in terms of the nucleus, I think they've got aging strikers with Giroud and Ibrahimovic and Paxton. Was it Paxton that brought this up here? Yes, he did. Hear what Zlatan said about fearing what will come after retirement, so he wants to play as long as possible. I didn't hear about that, but yeah, that's interesting, man. And it's quite honest because when we look at and talk about these footballers, they don't have a clue what they want to do, and in terms of their mental state, it goes in such a bad way because they've been conditioned to play football. All they're thinking about is the next game, and they don't even think. Do you know what? Footballers don't even think too much about their trophies or records until they retire, because it's literally always on to the next, and that's what moves them forward. You see, so yeah, they don't quite know. They've been doing it since childhood. From Zlatan, he was a childhood superstar when he was breaking through. So yeah, but when I'm talking about their squad, and then I'll get into the rest of your comments, guys. Don't worry. Looking at their squad, you got Mike Maignan, the goalkeeper. I think he's okay. Looked very rash in that game. Erratic in terms of like decisions. When keepers decide to punch when they could catch, and types of saves that they make. But other than that, he's been a good goalkeeper. They've got Tomori, who's been, I think that was a fantastic signing from you guys.
He's really good for them. He's really. Yeah. I'm so happy for Tomori. He's getting an opportunity.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on him? Would you want him at Chelsea at this moment? Well, with the contract situation there,
he should never have been sold. Frank kind of confuses because he was playing him, then he wasn't playing him, and when he did play, we were like, "Whoa, this guy's all right." He doesn't look the part of a centre back. He's a bit like Fabio Cannavaro when you watch Cannavaro back in the day. Like, this guy's not that tall. He doesn't look that strong. But Tomori was a baller. Never got given a proper chance, in my opinion, and we could do with him now. I'm just happy that he's getting game time, and he's definitely doing something, because Milan are leading the pack at the moment by a point in I always forget, what do they call their league now? Serie A, that's it. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah. and you know, it's when you look at that league, and I look at leagues that are competitive, and I just think, right, when are we going to see this replicate into the Champions League or in Europe? And Tereak, you might disagree with me on this.
Yeah.
But the best European competition isn't the Champions League. It is the Europa League and the Conference League. The Champions League, it's not, at this moment in time, it's not competitive. It isn't, because it's just not competitive. Whereas I think at the moment, the other two European competitions are more competitive, because I'm going to watch Napoli-Leicester later, and I think that's a game. But
I know.
That's just,
even looking at that though, there's been, you know, the pandemic, the C word that I don't say on YouTube, that is affecting that game, because Leicester have quite a few players that didn't even travel.
That's not great. But in terms of going back to AC Milan, they've got some very good individuals. Tomori, I don't understand what he has to do to get Gareth Southgate's attention. He's playing. If AC Milan were to finish, if they win that league, and if no one looks at him, we surely have to ask ourselves, why is Tomori not getting a look in? I think he's as good as Maguire, if not better. But that's just me being biased. But it's one of he's learning of Maldini. I bet you he's going to him all the time. Listen, how do I get better? You're talking. He's talking to one of the best ever to do it in an AC Milan shirt. And for me, he's going to gorge all that. And do not be surprised if he comes back in the Premier League. He'll probably play for a rival. Probably play for you guys.
I wouldn't mind that. Do you know what I mean? I'll take for Kyle Tomori. But then they've also got a few other players as well. Ishmael Benacer, who came through the Arsenal Academy. He's pretty decent. I know they're losing Kessie in the summer with that contract running down, but he's still got the likes of Teo Hernandez. He's a French international now. And then Rafael Leao, he's decent. He's okay. Tonali, who's still there. So they still do have a good core that they could build this club around. So I think that they could they can getting back to that level. It's difficult with any Serie A team.
It's gonna take some time, isn't it? They've got Chelsea's Bakayoko. I don't even know if we've sold him. He's probably on loan, highly likely. And when you watch him in a Milan shirt, you just think, what's going on here? And but yeah, he's another Veron when United have it and Chelsea had him.
Exactly. We got Munzi, I mean, not Munzi, Moss saying he's speaking the truth, but at least no Yankees cap finally. As wearing that when it's love, I hate the franchise, Tereak. Oh, like Real Madrid or Manchester United, the most talk, the most boast, and they spend the most, don't they? Is do-rag common in the UK? Serious question. It is. It is. Would you say it is, Hanif?
Yeah,
Seen do-rags?
I would say I'd wear it.
Hey, that's what, see. I need a haircut. That's what the reason is. Tamori, you mean the Canadian? Everyone forgets he was born in Canada and Moss representing Canada over there. You are right about that. But yep, as Sato saying there, he likes his Southgate likes his favourites.
True.
I think you are right. And yep, chose England because you start Maguire better than the Canada team, I guess. Yeah, I think it's totally. Is subjective. And do you know what? I want to touch upon this. I know this is kind of off topic now. What's your thoughts on players and how would you like? Because I always like this debate. So choosing the nation to play, what nation they play, how would you go about it? Because I don't mind, like I don't, because if it's me, because I'd be eligible to play for England, Jamaica. Would I be eligible to play for Canada? I don't know. But yeah, England, Jamaica, that's what I'd know because the rules change. If I was good enough to play for England, I'd play for England. But if I knew I wasn't good enough, I'd play for Jamaica. And I'd still, same way, love playing for Jamaica. What about you, Hanif? Do you think the players should choose the country they're born or raised or the country of their heritage?
Personally, I think you should play for the country that you were raised in. My mom and dad come from Pakistan.
Yeah,
I was born and raised in the UK. I think that's important. Like if I had a child and I went to America and my child was raised there, I'd like them to play for America. But ultimately, it's a choice. Look at the likes of Grealish. Look at the likes of what's the other lad called? Declan Rice. These guys, especially Declan Rice, he's an Irish international. He played for Ireland, and there's many players before them as well. I don't want to single them out. It all comes down to how much money you make. Unfortunately, it all comes down to those sponsors and so on. So personally, I think you should play for the team that you're raising. But you know what? In other sports like cricket, there's a flexibility, and I don't see why there shouldn't be flexibility in football.
It's true. You are right. That is true because it's hard, isn't it? Like to really make that decision and really feel who you belong to. I think I kind of agree with you in a way because it's cultures, isn't it? It's cultures and places where you're made. But I understand the other argument to it. Like, no, I'm playing for the country that that my family represent. Like when you talk about colour of skin and those things there. But yeah, man, we got Sato says, I think you play where you're born. That's the same as your passport. You can even get different passports. When
it's like the example I'd like to give is I don't understand why Zaha never played for England before he started to play for Ivory Coast. I always think that. I think he's so underrated, but he never got to play for England. I'm just like on the left hand side at this moment in time.
Yeah,
I'd say he walks in. He walks into that England team. Maybe he doesn't start, but he gets into the team, and that's another example. But I think it depends on where you're raised ultimately. But there's flexibility in the system, and let's keep it like that. I think that's what makes nations great: multiculturalism, if that's the word.
Exactly. And B&B, big up yourself, Black and Blanco says, play for the country that will pick you. Yeah, true. Man, it's true. Whoever decides to pick you. And so we've gone through the key notable clubs in Barcelona and AC Milan who have been knocked out. Anyone else that you want to talk about that's been knocked out of the competition? And then we'll talk on the bright side, who's made it through, what's your thoughts on that? We've got Dortmund who are entering the Europa League. What's your thoughts on that quickly, Hanif? Dortmund.
That should be interesting. There's some really good clubs in the Europa League, and I think there are some mouth-watering ties. Haaland in the Europa League, and you'd put Dortmund up there to win it. One of the things I don't like about European competitions is teams shouldn't be getting second chances. You win Champions League, you should play again, but But yeah, they're definitely up there. And there are other teams like Atalanta. I really like their style, and RB Leipzig play some nice football as well. Porto's a massive club. Always had a decent history, a very rich history in European competition. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see where they go. I think some of these clubs that are falling down into that competition are highly likely going to be the favourites, including Sevilla. Sevilla love the Europa League.
It's true. That is very true. Exactly. And then you got Villarreal that could go in there. Unai Emery loves the Europa League. You know what? I think you've said, and you said it, and I thought it was about quite controversial at the time, but it's more competitive. And now when you've got clubs like
100%.
Barcelona, Dortmund in there, I don't agree with these clubs getting second chances, and there should be a way. But I think they've kind of found a good middle ground, because what's happening, I don't know if you're aware, but the clubs that finish third in the Champions League will play clubs that finish second in their group in the Europa League in a round of 32. So West Ham, who finished top, they go straight into the round of 16. So it's like a bypass, and it's like the round of 32 is like a playoff type of thing for the third club in the team that finished third in the Champions League for the team that finished second in the Europa League. So it could be a Barcelona-Leicester if Leicester finished second. So that would be interesting. So yes, there is a lot. And do you know what? But whilst we're on it quickly, guys, who wins today? What are you saying, Henny, of Atalanta and Villarreal?
I'm going with Atalanta.
Yeah, I like Atalanta. I love the way they play football with Gasperini. So yeah, I like that one.
I want him in the Premier League. I want Gasperini in the Premier League.
Hey, do a good job at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to play that,
we'll find out in February.
I think this is the perfect time, because we're going to go on to the teams that have made it through now, guys. Any more questions? Let me know. Good evening. Had the game been postponed? Yes, it was, because of heavy snow, a blizzard. That was there. Good evening. Yes. So let's talk about Chelsea now, who go through in second place. Hanif, what's your thoughts on Chelsea this season, and can you do it? Can you defend your title and win it back?
To be the best, you got to beat the best. I'm glad we finished second. I want to play the best. Let's see how good we really are. The game was, if you look at it from a footballing point of view, it was really good. Excited, end to end. Zenit probably deserved a little bit more. They did a little bit more, I would say. But you know what? Kepa played really well. Fantastically well. Defensively, we are shot at the moment. In the midfield, we are shot. You could tell some of our midfield players have not played together. They've not had much game time out there. We made a lot of errors. But from an attacking point of view, Werner was good. Lukaku got a goal. Reece James in midfield was interesting. He looked all right. Aspilicueta, it's almost that time for Aspi. Thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing. And a lot of Chelsea fans were saying we didn't need Zuma. We need him now. So listen, Zenit deserved a point at least. I thought we could have done a little bit more. We could have wrapped it up earlier, but if you don't score, you don't win. And we didn't do enough to win the group because of the loss against Juventus. Yeah. And we're not clinical in front of goal. And now defensively, we're leaking goals as well. So at this moment in time, if a team was to play Chelsea, you've got a very good opportunity to get something from Chelsea. So you have to ask yourself, you know what? We need to buck up our ideas, and we're still playing the same way. So I don't understand it. When we were 3-2 up, why are we playing such a high line? Drop back, just defend. And look, it was a good game of football. Werner scored. He played really well, to be fair. Lukaku got a goal, and hopefully that will stand us in good stead in the future. But the next tie is probably going to be tough.
Yeah, it's true. But do you, Hanif, another question, firing right back at you, and then we'll go into the comments. Do you think Thomas Tuchel's system is more suited to compete for the Champions League than it is for the Premier League in terms of how he plays?
100%. Yeah, it is, yeah. I think we've got players that are more suited to European football. Werner looks a lot better in the Champions League to me.
Yeah, very good
compared to the Premier League. And I think Tuchel always wanted the Champions League over the Premier League anyway. And it's all right. Listen, look, if Chelsea win the Champions League, yes, it's nice. It's another European trophy. I'm not going to jump up and down about it, but yes, it's nice. But
That's mad to me as an Arsenal fan. That's
yeah, I know, but there's no competition really. There's the English clubs, possibly PSG and Bayern. Where's the competition? I could talk to you about back in the day. Villarreal had a sick team. You had teams from Austria that had a sick team. You had Deportivo La Coruña. See that some of these teams that people will not have heard of doing bits in the Champions League back in the day, and they're not there now. The UEFA Champions League group stages are just there so the big boys can make money and move on. Yes, you're going to get a shock. There will be a shock where someone doesn't turn up. There were times when Liverpool under Steven Gerrard, they would lose the first 3 games and then they would win the next 3 games. And that would be the highlight of the Champions League group stage. It'd be like, oh, Liverpool are under the cosh, but Gerrard saves them again. I just think, I don't, his style is annoying. His style is annoying to me because he doesn't. I still believe we've got a good team out there, but some of those players are at this moment in time are making so many errors. It's not good enough at the moment, and we're not doing well. It's not good. This is our drop at the moment.
Exactly. It's true. And I've always said, and I think I totally agree with you in that. I've always said the Premier League, well, it's not always been the case, as you mentioned, but in recent years, the Premier League is more competitive than the Champions League. It's harder to win the Premier League than it is the Champions League. You know that because you've won both in recent years. And I always think it is. And that's why you can see the likes of Chelsea winning it last season. And the 2 times that you've won it, you've just scraped to be in the top 4 last season. And before that was 5th or 6th behind Newcastle. So, you have to have quality players. Yes, of course. But it's harder with the Premier League with how competitive it is. The sides you're coming up against with the Liverpools, Man Cities nowadays. And then, so I agree with you on that. I've always said that, but people have said, "Oh, you're a salty Arsenal fan." That's why I'm like, nah, man.
The only thing about the Champions League is this: they've done a fantastic job in marketing the Champions League, and there's a lot more money associated to the Champions League. That's the only difference. If you compare it to the FA Cup, I think it's the same thing. It's in terms of it's the same thing. It's a cup competition, and they hold the same high regards in terms of a cup competition. However, the FA have done such a shocking job of keeping the FA Cup relevant amongst the younger crowd, amongst the young kids that are coming through. No one talks about the FA Cup, but there's so many fantastic memories, like Arsenal winning the FA Cup. People would say to me, I always say, look, Arsenal are FA Cup champions, but even Arsenal fans discredit that trophy. And I'm just like, what are you doing? How can you discredit that trophy? And I'm just like, and it's a mindset. And fair enough, UEFA are pumping in a lot more money, but look at the competition this year. And I'll always say, listen, we've got the best league in the world. We've got the most money. England is going to be winning the unless Bayern or PSG do something. England is the Champions League will be in England for the next 3 to 5 years most of the time.
Yeah, you are right. You're spot on. And when you look at it, look at the finals, look at the teams. How many times English didn't we have one year when Arsenal played Chelsea and Liverpool played Tottenham, all English across Europe? That says it all. And we've seen all your English finals before. It's not uncommon to see that. Yes, you see the flashes of Bayern Dortmund happen one year. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Has that ever happened? Has that happened? I don't think so.
Not in the final. Not in the final.
But then Real Madrid, when they went through their period of getting there. Yeah, man, but look at Real Madrid now. But Saito saying Chelsea let a lot of goals in, not normal. And
it is normal at the moment. It is normal at the moment because defensively, there's no Rudiger, who looks like he's going to Real Madrid, which isn't great. And there's no Thiago Silva. So we're lacking leadership, we're lacking organization, and we're lacking experience. So it's a tough ask from this current Chelsea defense.
And is Lukaku the problem?
No, I wouldn't say he's a problem. The system's the problem. Why would you buy a player that doesn't fit your system?
Exactly.
You look at you're right, Rich. You look at Klopp. Why did he buy Mane? Why did he buy Salah? He didn't just buy them because they were great players. They weren't great players. They were They were decent players at the time, but he saw that they would be effective in a system that he had developed. This current system, right, is not great at this moment for Lukaku. It doesn't get the best out of him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There you go. Chelsea fan asking for the side to sit deeper. Blasphemy for a
Yesterday we should have. It was last few minutes. We had to sit deeper. That's why.
Athletic Bilbao had a great team for the Champions League. Yeah, exactly, Paxton. He knows. Moss, the Arsenal fan. FA Cup is the best. Of course it is, man. 14 times. All the effort, money put in the Premier League, that's spot on. Totally agree with you. We've got the Don Jones here. He's saying totally agreed about FA Cup. I would rather win a cup or every time over third and fourth. Arsenal fan here. I think you're right, Don Jones. We've had that, and our fan base will say no, they'd rather fourth. And people, I've heard Man United fans, other fans ridicule Arsenal for saying, "Oh, you won the FA Cup, but you never got Champions League." What is the point of being in the Champions League if you're not going to seriously compete for it? I'm not saying you have to win it, but if you're not going to be a challenger for it, and if we jump into the Champions League next season, we're not going to challenge for it next season. It will take probably 3 years of good ownership, right decisions being made until we compete for that trophy. So, nah, not for me. Exactly. I think
also, if you look at what you guys have spent, you're not going to know how good that transfer window has been as well, because it's going to take 2 to 3 years. Like, listen, that was a wicked transfer window. Look what's happened. This guy's still in the first team. He's progressed and he's doing really, really well. So, these transfer windows that you have, they take time. Then you can tell.
Exactly. And should the I think Moss is saying here the FA Cup winners should get a Champions League spot. Proves 100%. You are a Tawny team. Exactly. And we've got B&B over here saying the top 4 trophy. Yeah, we was banging that for ages. So let's talk now about I want to hear your Hanif in terms of the teams that have surprised you in the Champions League and your dark horses.
My dark horses.
You got lots of Salzburg. So let me just run through some of them that could be. Obviously, the favourites, we've got Man City, PSG, Liverpool, and then we've got Chelsea, of course, and Bayern Munich as well. But then you've got a few. Would you put Real Madrid as a dark horse this season?
I put Ajax as a dark horse.
Ajax, definitely. Yeah,
I think Ajax might surprise a few. Inter Milan are doing really well, with their new manager. It's clicking a lot quicker. Lille have a couple of good youngsters. It just depends on the draw. Who do you get? Chelsea might get lucky again. And I'll be honest with you. If you said to me, who would I take from some of the big boys? I'd take Atletico. I'd take Real. I don't think they're there. And you know what? I'd probably take Inter as well. So I can't see any of these clubs winning it. I think there'll be one club that gets to the semis.
Who's that? Who's that? Who are you saying then? I'm going for Ajax. And let me just say quickly, because I've got him in the thumbnail, put some respect on Sebastian Haller's name. And I remember watching him play against you guys in the Europa League semi-final. And I thought, this guy, he's wonderful. He's brilliant. The way he holds up the ball, he really allowed Luka Jovic to go and shine, because Luka Jovic was the finisher and Haller was the guy who held and knitted everything together, which is why Ajax see something in him, even though he didn't have a great time at West Ham, because he doesn't suit that type of football that David Moyes wants from his striker. But if you're talking about a technical ball, a guy who can hold up the ball, he can get goals, headers, wonderful from penalties as well. Having a look at his penalty record, I was astonished. And then, and that's how he fits into an Ajax team like a glove. So would you say that Ajax can be the ones that make that semi-final, Hanif? And why?
100%. I think if you look at Ajax as a club and as a history, they've always produced top talented players. When I look at players like Sebastian Haller joining a team like West Ham, you have to ask yourself, why? What's attracted him to West Ham? It can't be the challenge. It's the money. It is definitely the money. And I think the only problem is why some of the top clubs, they don't go for some of Ajax's strikers or some of their ballers, you could say, is because Our fans don't rate the league for some odd particular reason, but Ajax are another club like Bayern Munich they've not had as much success recently, but they've got this stability, this forward-thinking mindset that, look, football's like this in the next 3 to 5 years, right? We're going in that direction. We'll get some of our past heroes, our past legends. They will be the ones to take our club forward. And they keep using that same structure. Don't be surprised if someone like Donny van der Beek becomes Ajax's director one day. Stuff like that happens, and that's what needs to happen at these football clubs. You need footballing people in charge. That's why Manchester United are desperate to get Van der Sar in, and I think that's why I think that culture, that experience, that know-how, and that forward-thinking mentality will take Ajax further forward. And I think their team is there's a lot of gems in that team, and I think they will surprise a few.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. Are you spot on once again? Anthony, that's the one that is on everybody's lips at the moment. You got Jurrien Timber, who's the young Dutch centre-back. Probably suits a back three more if he was to come into somewhere like the Premier League, but could easily play in a back four in the other leagues that aren't as physical, like in the Serie A, La Liga. So they do have a lot. And you got Onana, who could be heading to Inter Milan at the end of the season. So yeah, and they just keep producing that young crop of talent. And Erik ten Hag, what a manager he seems to be, and he's been linked with everyone and everyone and their dog, Ten Hag has. So yeah, man, they've got a real good club structure there, and then they should probably bring a good manager in straight after then, because it's easy to transition into a club that has that structure built.
They'll have someone already lined up that, listen, he's going, we're getting this guy. They already know. That's why they've been able to be forward thinking and manage really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they do that. Man United are dark horses. Man United more like a three-legged donkey. Are you talking about Maguire? Moss, would you rate Lille if they didn't have Jonathan David? Because we got Canada, he's representing Canada right here. Johnny D. He's at very good scoring run in the Champions League. Moss, what's the stats? He can let us know that there in the chat. And he says, we are going to get Ten Hag in the summer. Don't worry, T. Ooh, I don't know. Hey, Chelsea might get rid of Tuchel and then Ten Hag may slip in. Would you take Ten Hag at Chelsea?
Yes, 100%. I want him or Gasperini or Marco Rose. I want someone forward thinking. I want a bit different. I've had enough of three at the back now. I think
even though his name, people, he's got
it's there's no harm in playing three at the back, but I don't mind the formation. It's just sometimes it's just the manager really. For me, he's not, and I'm gonna get so much stick for this. I don't rate him as highly as Klopp and Pep, man. I just don't.
I think you're right. I'll back you on that. I will back you on that, because you've just got to look at what they've done, not just for football. Tuchel, he came after Klopp at Borussia Dortmund, didn't set the ground alight, didn't do anything amazing there. And look what Klopp has done for Dortmund and Liverpool, and then how Pep Guardiola's revolutionised football. I think he's a very good manager, and you can, in terms of accolade, well, now because he's won the Champions League, you can put him in and around. But I actually think he's that level below of a Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. And I'd probably put him there by himself at the moment, in that little bit of he's in his own little category, Thomas Tuchel, because he's not done anything revolutionary at Chelsea to really say that this is his philosophy, this is how he plays football, and this is how it can impact our club for the long term. Whereas Klopp has done that at Borussia Dortmund, and so has Pep Guardiola at the likes of Barcelona and Man City now. So for Tuchel to be put in there, he has to set a stone for Chelsea, where they look at, I want it to be, or basically like Chelsea fans say, I want to play like how Tuchel did back in the day. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think he set that there. So he's not quite in that category. And Rich says there, what category does Ollie go? Oh man, you're killing me. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still getting brought up. Is this a Chelsea fan thing? So used to change the manager, Klopp would not have been given the time at Chelsea. I think Black and Blanco is right there. What about
Yeah,
you?
but he would have been given the money to bring players in, though.
True, but actually, I don't know, man, because at Chelsea,
Klopp is a long-term manager, and I think the mindset of Liverpool, where they were nowhere near the league. They had a couple of run-ins with it, and I think one year Brendan got close to it. But what Klopp is a long-term manager. He sees the vision and thinks, you know what, I'm looking at this team. We need to rebuild from the beginning. It's going to take 4 years or whatever he said it was in that press conference, and we'll win the league. And he's won the Champions League and the league. But if you look at the way he's been treated by the board, he doesn't get much support. And I think that's why we have to rate him so highly. He doesn't get big money. He's only bought one player.
Exactly.
But the club don't back him, and Chelsea will back him. Come on, Klopp, we'll back you.
You know, saying about backing Klopp though, I think I don't know, because you guys, I know Liverpool haven't necessarily done this for Klopp. I know Salah, he wasn't Klopp signing. He wanted Julian Brandt, and Michael Edwards was the one that signed Salah. But you guys, I don't think the manager makes the signings at Chelsea.
No, the director of football does. The reason why Chelsea is successful is because of our head of recruitment and the director of football. They saw the vision that, look, we are going to have a team that is a very good team. We'll always compete. We'll always try and buy the best crop of players from Europe, and the players will adopt to whichever manager comes through the door. We'll give them 2 to 3 years, and we'll see what happens. But the thing is, this Chelsea have done that so many times that it's successful for us, but it's not good for long-term stability. It's not good, in my opinion, for winning trophies. We've not been league champions now for 5 years. I don't want that to be 10 years. So Tuchel needs to do something within his contract. He deserves his contract for the next 2 to 3 years, whatever it is. He might win a league, but at this moment in time, he won't win a league. And it depends on what Roman is thinking, on feelings. Think, look, I bought you Lukaku when he should have got Lewandowski. Lukaku wasn't the player for us at the time. Or buy as a world-class midfielder alongside Kante. Paul Pogba might fit the bill, but we'll have to wait and see. But no, it's
exactly.
We'll just have to wait and see, really.
And there you go, people in the chat. I'm gonna ask this to you as well. You've got to give it to wrap it up. We're gonna wrap up the show now. Who will win the Champions League, and who is your dark horse? So you've got to pick one. And Eve, I'm going to hold you to it. All right, not really. So you've got to say right now, who do you think will win the Champions League? And the teams, if you are stuck for teams in terms of the dark horses, it's on the ticker down below. The teams that have qualified into the round of 16.
Liverpool to win. If they keep the players fit. If you want me to go dark horses, and I don't know why I'm about to say this. Am I really right? Yeah. Go on. I'll say it. Juventus.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think Juventus they're not having a good season in Serie A, but I think they've got a fantastic manager, and he might be able to get something out of them.
There you go. I did. You know what? I was on Roland Show Pros Only TV yesterday, and he said, I don't know, man. I think Juventus just might jammy their way through into there. And you played against them. And when you got players like Chiesa, you still got quality players like that. I remember watching that game against you, and he created all their chances by himself in that game. That's how good Federico Chiesa is. And we've seen what he's done for Italy in the Euros. For me, and then I'll go into the chat, I'm going to go with the team that's going to win it. I'm going with Man City this year. I backed them last year against you guys. It didn't work out. I think Man City can do it. I think they've got the squad depth. I know they're having the injuries now. So with the likes of Foden, who's picked up an injury, who might not be here in the weekend. But I'll talk more about that in the Premier League preview later, guys. And I think they can tactically manage their way through, and I don't think that striker will be a problem for them in the Champions League. I think it can be more of a hindrance in the Premier League. But how I saw them against PSG, they could do that to anyone, even away from home. I think they were very good. They deserve to win, but just individual brilliance from PSG on the day. So I think Man City are the team that will win the Champions League. And the dark horses, I'm going to say another team in Manchester, and that is Manchester United. There's not too many people talking about them. I think they could go far. What do you think about that, Hanif? Do you think Man United can go far in the Champions League?
Yeah, definitely. They've got the team. They've definitely got the team. It'll be interesting with their playing style because I think they're going to suffer a lot of injuries as a result of this new playing style. Man United are kind of playing long ball and they're going all out for the ball and closing them down and high press and all that. But when you're watching that, and Klopp used to play the same way, but then Klopp realized that to win the Premier League, you need to be able to control the ball, hold the ball, ensure the players get enough rest to counter-attack, to score goals. And at this moment in time, I think when I was watching the first team and they were just hoofing it forward, I was just like, it's good to play. It's attractive to watch.
Yeah.
But it's not going to win you league titles because Klopp did the same thing. And if you don't score, and United, when I watched them yesterday, when they were playing Young Boys should have won that game. In the second half, I believe they had the more clearer chances than Manchester United. And fair enough, it was a very young team, a very inexperienced team. But even with their first team, I don't think the fitness levels will be up there. I don't think it wins you anything because there's no control. You watch the Liverpool team now, there's a lot of control and experience. And to play like that, you need control and experience. I don't think it's going to win them the Champions League unless, obviously, they score an Ollie corner kick and it's one of them. But I just don't see it at this moment in time. I still think defensively, if Maguire starts, United can be got at. I really do. But we'll have to wait and see. They have got one of the best players in the world in their team, so anything's possible.
There you go. And that's the perfect way to wrap that up. And let me go into the comments as well. Let me hear what they're saying. The reason Chelsea are successful is because of the Russian mafia and the checkbook, lol. Hey, it is. Got to back my boys, Manchester United, even though it won't happen. Verbs, big up yourself, Verbs. He's gone with a United with the eyes looking. And Don Jones, I agree with you, man. I saw you put that in before I said it. And Champions League, Man City. Man United equals Yankees. Man City, Pep is due. Dark horse, anyone not in the Prem would surprise me. I think Hanif goes with that type of school of thought. Anyone that's not in the Prem will surprise. I agree with that as well. Winner by Munich, nobody can stop Alphonso Davies and Ajax, the dark horse. He's saying Atletico with Simeone will cheese his way far too. And we are not trying to win the league at the moment, though. We're just trying to get top four. And it's only been one game. By the time Champions League comes back around, it will be 2 months into the job for Ralph. You can't judge yesterday. We changed the whole team. Ralph Ranić, baby. And is Monday the draw for both tournaments? Yes, it is. Monday is the draw. And you know what, guys? I think this is the perfect time to wrap it up. And Hanif, massive thank you for coming on. Thank you for jumping on. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, if anybody wants to talk football with me, 532_pod on Instagram. I'm more than happy to be on there. And also I'll be on Munzi Talks. And hopefully Tereak Talks as well, a lot more. So you'll be able to catch me on those channels.
Most definitely, Hanif. Thank you very much for coming on. I really enjoyed this. And guys, there's so much more to come from Hanif. I know it, man. I've check out the content on Munzi Talks. He's very strong, and he puts his points in a respectful way, though, and that's what I really appreciate. And I can always have time listening to Hanif talk football, whether you agree with it or not, man. So yeah, man, I really appreciate it coming on. And guys, thank you for it coming on in the chat. I really appreciate it. You're the people that make it at the end of the day. You make it so much more interesting, and to meet people like Hanif, chat football with him, and then also talk football with you guys and much more. Guys, there will be another video coming up, another stream coming up. It's the Premier League preview, and Edmund will be here to join me. It's been a few weeks now, it feels like. Yeah, a few shows since Edmund's been there, and we're going to be bringing up all the stats and records coming up for the Premier League and injuries and suspension news. And then obviously the predictions and where you guys are in the predictions table as well. So once again, people, thank you very much for showing support. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe both to Tereak Talks and Munsey Talks. And thank you, and we'll catch you later. Peace.